Greetings, heretics. This is the Inquisitor-in-Chief, Null-Inquisitor, and today is going to be a video, just a quick video about some upcoming RPG that I'm looking for. Shadow of the Weird Wizard by Robert Schwalb. This new game is built from the ashes, the remains of Shadow of the Demon Lord, one of Schwalb's previous game. And this one is described as more of a gray fantasy, since Robert Schwalb is incapable of doing a white fantasy game, while Shadow of the Demon Lord was more grimdark, gothic, gory, and horrific. Shadow of the Weird Wizard promised to be more a traditional fantasy RPG. And there is in the setting, the proposed setting, a weird wizard that is doing all kinds of shenanigans in the background. But you could take these roles and play in Forgotten Realms, Golarion, and a game setting you just made up. This video is not a review of the game or the system. I might do that in the future, but this quick video is just to feature something I like about this game, which is the career path or the character advancement in this game. So let's jump right in. When you start a character in this version of the game, you start at first level, while in Shadow of the Demon Lord, you started as a 0 level nothing, and you just grind your way through greatness, and finally you get your first level, and you choose from one of 4 path or 4 class. In Shadow of the Weird Wizard, the basic premise is that you are a starting hero. So you start at first level with one of the 4 career path. All the path and magic and combat system and rules have been tweaked and redesigned for this game. So it's not exactly a redo from Shadow of the Demon Lord. There are traces of DNA from Shadow of the Demon Lord, but it's a kind of a new version of the game, a new iteration of the game, with its own personality and identity. So when you start, you have 4 path, 4 novice path, which are, you can guess, the 4 classic heroes in a fantasy party: a fighter, a mage, a cleric, and a rogue. And then after a while, after a couple of sessions of play, where ideally you gain 1 level per session, but it doesn't have to be the case depending on how long you want to stretch a campaign. But Robert Schwalb's intention was that you would play on a short term and go from 0 to hero in the span of a 10 session, basically. But you can, of course, stretch this over a longer period of time. So after a couple of sessions or a couple of levels, you are given the choice of taking an expert path. And now the fun begins. You have now 16 choices, basically. They are regrouped again in 4 different functions: battle, fate, power, and skills, which mimic the novice path earlier. But now you have more to choose from. You can stick to what your character is good at and focus in that direction, but you will now have an array of variation on the same theme. And then you continue to play, and after a while you become a master, and you are given a master pass. And now Now you have 64 choices, still divided in 4 categories: arms, gods, magic, and prowess. And just to give you an example, if I go here and I look at the expert path, let's say path of battle, for example, just at the expert level, you have berserker, commander, gladiator, knight errant, martial artist, myrmidon, ranger, swashbuckler, veteran, and warden. And this is just one of the 4 groups. So as you can see, you have a lot of choices. But Seb, non-inquisitor, you will say, you will ask, when I want to jump on another branches, there must be some kind of cost or prerequisite. And the game here will answer you no, there is no prerequisite. So you can really do weird combination. You can really go off the rail and create a ridiculous character. But let's do an example. For example, let's create a character that will focus in one activity, fighting. So let's start him at level 1 as a fighter. At expert level, we will take commander. Let's say we want to do a knight or an officer or something. We'll choose the commander from the path of battle group. And at master level, we will choose cavalier. And now we will have a mounted combatant fighter that is a commander, a field commander, and a cavalier. So our character is now a master and is one of the most powerful people in the world. And a very focused character. Let's go. Let's redo this character's career, but let's go a little bit wilder. We start him as a fighter this time, but along the way at expert level, he find the teachings of a god, and he found his fate, and he suddenly become a chaplain. He chose the chaplain path in the path of faith. And he chose to stick with this God's teachings and later become a soul taker for this God. And he's a killer for the church of whatever gods you have in your game. So this time you have this fighter but instead of focusing into his fighting and military career, this fighter has veered towards what we might call a paladin or a champion, which is incidentally is a choice you can make also in the game. Now let's go back and this time let's make it even weirder. Okay. So we start this character again as a fighter, but this time, I don't know, he fall in love with a dryad. So he become a wild guardian. He learned the ways of the forest. He start to cast magic, but druidic type of magic. He start to animate trees and speak to mushrooms and all kinds of druidic thing. And later on, during his adventure, his dryad lover is killed and his beloved forest is cleaned off and cleaned right off, and now it's just a barren field of ashes. And so now our character is really pissed, and at the master level he becomes a war machine. He started to do the Iron Man thing and start to build himself an armor, a suit of armor, an enchanted armor with the tears and the sacred blood of his lover imbued into his armor, and becomes a war machine from the path of prowess. So as you can see, this same character with 3 different story or 3 different type of resolution inside the campaign becomes a very different character depending on the choices the player would make at the time. So these are an example of something I like very much about this game. Apart from the fact that the game system is really close to an OSR type of game, you just roll 1d20, you add some d6 or not, and that's pretty much the game. So my conclusion to this quick video is that you have 4 novice path, then 16 expert, then 64 master for a grand total of 4,096 possible combination of character from the start. That's apart from when you choose magical tradition, when you cast spells, and those tradition comes with a choice of spells and a choice of talents you gain from each. So each time you discover a tradition, you have to choose one talent among many, and spells, which sure you have a spell list for each tradition, but you have to choose some spell among those who are proposed. So in short, this is it's tons of options. And what I like about this feature is that it will have an organic advancement with your campaign. If you are more of a traditional player and game master, you will find a corridor for your focus character, your fighter that wants to become a knight. But if you play gunzo type fantasy, you can do that too. You just have to cross the wire, cross the streams, and go nuts with your choice. So that's it. It's something I like about this game. I'm eager to. I'm really excited to receive my copy. I already have the PDFs. I run a couple of test combat and test scenarios to compare it to the Shadow of the Demon Lord experience. And so far, I'm very pleased with what I've seen in emergent property, and I can see where this game could be used at my table. So thanks for watching, and see you next time. Bye bye.